All right, let's talk about something that I know might not sound super exciting, but is absolutely critical if you own or manage a commercial property. We're talking about gutter maintenance. Seriously, it is the unsung hero of your building, and if you ignore it, well, the consequences can be huge. Let's kick things off with just one number. 600 gallons. Just think about that for a second. 600 gallons. What could that possibly be, right? It's not how much your gutter can hold. Nope. It's something way more fundamental.
Yep, that's how much water your roof collects from just 1 inch of rain. 600 gallons. Now think about a real storm. We are talking about literal tons of water crashing down on your building. And you know what's standing between that massive amount of water and some really catastrophic damage? Your gutters. That's why we need to talk about this.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the high cost of neglect. What's really at stake? Then we'll do a little autopsy on a gutter failure to see what actually goes wrong. After that, we pivot to the good stuff, your proactive maintenance playbook. We'll also cover the nitty-gritty of systems, sizing, and seasons. And finally, we'll talk about how to choose the right professional for the job.
Okay, Section 1, the high cost of neglect. Let's start with the big why. Because, when we're talking about your property, thinking about your gutters isn't just a chore. It's a financial strategy, a really important one.
Look, you're really at a fork in the road here, and you have two completely different paths you can take. On one side, you've got proactive maintenance. That's an investment, right? It protects the very foundation of your building. It keeps your structure solid, and it can even lower your insurance claims. But on the other side, well, that's neglect. And that's a huge liability. All that uncontrolled water can wreck foundations, cause nasty leaks, get you hit with fines, and in the worst-case scenario, it can actually cause structural collapse. The choice seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
So, we get it. The stakes are high. But what does a gutter failure actually look like? It's not always some dramatic collapse you see on the news. A lot of the time, the trouble starts small, with little mistakes made way before the first cloud even shows up. And here's the thing you really need to get. Most of these failures are not some random act of God. They are totally preventable design flaws. Take the pitch, for example. That's the slope of the gutter. If it's off by just a tiny bit, water just sits there instead of draining away. Or if the hangers holding it up are too far apart, the sheer weight of water and ice is going to make it sag. It really all boils down to getting that design and installation perfect from day one.
All right, let's zoom in on a very specific and very destructive winter problem. You see this all the time in colder climates, and it can cause a world of hurt. So what exactly is an ice dam?
So here's how it happens. It's this nasty chain reaction. You've got heat escaping from inside your building, and it melts the snow sitting on your roof. That water trickles down to the cold edge of the roof, and boom, it refreezes. It creates a literal dam made of ice. Now, any new snow that melts has nowhere to go. It gets trapped, pools up behind that ice dam, and starts creeping under your shingles. Before you know it, it's leaking right into your building, destroying insulation, ceilings, walls, just a huge mess.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. This is your proactive playbook, your game plan for getting ahead of these problems and keeping your property safe and sound.
And here it is, the single most important rule. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Clean and inspect your commercial gutters at least twice a year. Typically, you'll do it in the spring and again in the fall. The National Association of Home Builders recommends it. All the experts agree. This is the bedrock of any good maintenance plan. The spring cleaning gets rid of all the gunk from winter, and the fall cleaning clears out leaves so you're ready for snow and ice. So simple, but so effective.
And the whole process is really just a logical cycle. You start with a good, thorough inspection. You're looking for things like sagging sections or loose hangers. Then you do a deep clean to make sure water can actually flow where it's supposed to. And while you're cleaning, you're also keeping an eye out for any little bits of damage, small cracks or rust spots that you can fix right now. The real secret sauce here is just consistency. Putting this on the calendar and actually sticking to it, that's what stops tiny issues from blowing up into massive problems.
All right, let's get a little more specific, because a great maintenance plan also means you have to have the right system to begin with. So we've got to talk about materials, how you actually size a gutter system properly, and the unique challenges that come with the changing seasons.
The material you choose has a huge impact on how long your gutters will last. Aluminum and galvanized steel, these are kind of the workhorses of the industry. They'll typically give you about 20 years, and they're both strong and rust resistant. Now, copper's the top shelf option.
It's incredibly durable. We're talking 50 years or even more, and it gets that beautiful green patina over time. Sure, it's a bigger investment up front, but when you look at that lifespan, it can actually be cheaper in the long run.
In sizing gutters? Oh, that's not guesswork. It is absolutely a science. A real pro isn't just going to eyeball your roof. No, they're going to calculate the total square footage that drains into the gutter, and then they'll check that against historical rainfall data for your specific area. This lets them figure out the absolute maximum amount of water flow you could face in a crazy storm. Only then do they pick a system that has the capacity to handle it all.
Winter really needs its own special mention here. The sheer weight of heavy snow and ice is just immense. It can easily rip gutters right off the building if they're not fastened securely. And that constant freeze-thaw cycle, water gets into tiny cracks, freezes, expands, and makes those cracks bigger and bigger. And of course, the snow and ice just create their own blockages. This is exactly why that fall cleaning we talked about is so non-negotiable. You have to get that system clear before the first snowflake falls.
Okay, so at this point, you get the why, the what, and the how. The last piece of this whole puzzle is the who, because doing this right takes real expertise, and hiring the right professional is a step you just can't afford to skip.
So, how do you find someone great? It's actually a pretty simple vetting process. You start with your research. Read online reviews. Ask around for local recommendations. Definitely get multiple written estimates. But here's the most important part: verification. Always ask for proof of their license and their insurance. This protects you. And make sure they offer a warranty on their work. Any true professional is going to stand behind what they do.
And please do not forget this. This is a huge deal. Your contractor absolutely must understand and follow all the local and state building codes. This isn't just about avoiding some fine, it's a fundamental safety issue. It ensures the job is done right and that it won't become a hazard to your property or, more importantly, to the people in and around it.
You know, as we wrap this up, this quote really brings it all home. Commercial gutter maintenance, look, it's not the sexiest part of managing a property. I get it. But you just can't overstate how important it is. It is the very definition of being proactive. Every little inspection, every cleaning, it's a tiny task today that prevents a giant, expensive, and stressful disaster tomorrow.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Remember those thousands of gallons of water from a single storm? That water is coming, whether you're ready for it or not. So are you prepared to tell that water where to go, or are you just going to let it decide for you? Because really, that's what this is all about. It's not just a chore. It's about taking control and protecting your investment.